Right now, as you're watching this video, how many browser tabs do you have open? 10, 20, 47? Are some of them articles you meant to read 3 months ago? Do you have tabs you're afraid to close because you might need them someday? I'm Ross Whitmore from Northern Technology Services here in Petoskey, Michigan. And today we're talking about browser tabs, humanity's favorite form of digital hoarding. This is a love story, a tragedy, a comedy, all rolled into one. Full disclosure, I currently have 23 tabs open. I know what you're thinking. Ross, you're an IT professional. You should know better. You're absolutely right. But here's the thing. We all do this. We're all living in tab chaos, pretending we have a system when really we're just one browser crash away from losing, well, our entire digital identity. So let's talk about the psychology of tab hoarding. Let's talk about why we do this to ourselves. Browser tabs are like a junk drawer of the internet. We keep shoving things in there, thinking, I'll deal with this later. I'll get to that. I'm going to read that. And then it never comes. And here's what's actually happening in your brain. You open the tabs, you have good intentions. I'm going to read this article about productivity. And then you see another interesting link. Oh, I should check that one out too. And before you know it, well, you now have 30 tabs open and you've read exactly 0 articles. This is called tab hoarding, and it's a real phenomenon. We keep the tabs open because, well, we're afraid we'll forget about something important. Now, closing a tab, it feels like admitting defeat. I'll never read that article. I'll work on that later, maybe if I get time. You know, these tabs, they represent our aspirational selves, the person who reads long-form journalism and learns new skills. Open tabs create the illusion of productivity without requiring actual work. Psychologists call this digital clutter anxiety, and I call it optimistic multitasking. You're not disorganized, you're just very hopeful about your future reading habits. Now, the truth is, those 47 tabs, they aren't helping you, and they're creating cognitive load. And every time you look at your browser, your brain sees 47 unfinished tasks staring at you, and it's exhausting. Not all tabs are created equal. Let me introduce you to the different species of browser tabs that are living in your digital ecosystem. There's the I'll read this later tab. This tab has been open for 6 months, and you're never going to read it. We both know this. It's okay. But you can't close it because if that article about productivity apps is the one that finally changes your life, the I need this for work tab, this is a legitimate tab. It contains actual information you're actually using. You have maybe 3 of those. The other 44 are just pretending to be important. One of the favorites is the shopping cart limbo tab. You added items to your cart, but you haven't decided if you really need them. You might keep that tab open for a few weeks. The items are probably sold out by now, but you're not ready to let go of the dream. The YouTube rabbit hole tab. You started watching a video about network optimization and somehow ended up on a video about how they make crayons. You're not sure how you got here. I'm not either, but you're committed to finishing it. The login page tab. You logged into something once. You're not sure what. You're afraid to close it because you might need to be logged in, and you don't remember your password. So closing that tab feels a little risky. The email tab, Gmail, Outlook, whatever it is you use, this tab, that's permanent. This tab, it's going to outlive all of us. This tab will be open when the sun explodes. The mystery tab. You have no idea what this is. The favoricon's just a generic icon. The title's truncated. You're too afraid to click on it to find out. It might be important, it might be nothing. Schrodinger's tab. So let's talk about the breaking point here. Every tab hoarder experiences the breaking point. That moment where your browser finally says enough is enough. Here's how it happens. You're working along, tabs multiplying like rabbits, when suddenly your computer starts making that fan noise. You know the one. Sounds like a small aircraft preparing for takeoff. Your browser's using 8 gigs of RAM. Your computer's begging for mercy. Each tab is a tiny little vampire slowly draining your system resources. But you can't close them. They're all important. They're all needed. Then comes the crash. Your browser freezes. The spinning wheel of death appears. You panic. Did I lose everything? Maybe. I don't know. Your digital life flashes before your eyes. All those articles you were definitely going to read. All those shopping carts you were definitely going to complete. Sometimes the browser recovers and offers to restore your tabs. You click restore with relief. And then your computer immediately regrets the decision. All 67 tabs reload simultaneously. Somehow your laptop's crying. Your RAM is putting up a white flag. And it's now is Googling retirement homes. Other times, the browser just doesn't recover. Your tabs are gone forever. And you know what? You don't actually miss most of them. That's the dirty secret. You didn't need 90% of those tabs. I know. You're not going to want to admit this out loud. But I'm with you. We're all with you. So now, let's talk about the lies that we tell ourselves to justify this tab addiction. I'm doing the research. No, you're not. Research involves actually reading things and taking notes. You're collecting tabs like Pokemon cards. You got to catch them all. Doesn't apply to browser tabs. I'll get to it this weekend, will you, though? Will you really spend your Saturday reading 47 articles about productivity, cryptocurrency, sourdough bread making, conspiracy theories about birds? They're real, by the way, the birds. Not the conspiracy theories. Maybe, probably. I don't know. We'll save that for another day. These tabs they're organized. They're not being in the same browser window. Doesn't count as organization. It's like saying your junk drawer is organized because everything's in the same drawer. I need all these tabs for work. You need maybe 5 of those tabs for work. The other 40 are Wikipedia articles about obscure historical events, Reddit threads about whether hot dogs are sandwiches, and that one recipe you're definitely going to try someday. Closing tabs is wasteful. It's my favorite one. What if I need to reference this later? Here's the secret. You haven't looked at a tab in 3 weeks. You don't need it. Bookmark it if you're worried. But let's be honest, you're never going to look at all your bookmarks either. I'm a visual person. I need to see everything. You can't actually see anything when you have 50 tabs open. The tab titles are truncated to just the favicon. You have no idea what half of them are without clicking through them. This isn't visual organization. This is, unfortunately, visual chaos. So let's talk about the Great Tab Purge and why it's going to feel so good. All right. Tough love. Let's talk about that Great Tab Purge. That glorious moment when you finally close all those tabs and you feel 10 pounds lighter. Here's how to do it without having a panic attack. Step 1. You're never going to read most of those articles. This is the hardest step. It requires accepting that your aspirational self and your actual self are 2 different individuals. Your actual self watches Netflix and scrolls social media. Your aspirational self reads long-form journalism. Make peace with this. Use the bookmark all tabs feature. Most browsers let you save all open tabs to a bookmark folder. Do that. You'll never look at that folder again, but it's going to make you feel better about closing those tabs. It's like putting things in storage. You're not getting rid of them. You're just not, looking right at them. Step 3, close the tabs you haven't looked at in a week. If you haven't clicked on the tab in 7 days, you don't need it. Be ruthless. Channel your inner Marie Kondo. Does this tab spark joy? No. Close it. Keep only active tabs open. If you're not actively using it right now, close it. You can always reopen it later. Browsers have history. Google exists. You're not losing access to information. You're just not hoarding it in a tab form. Step 5, restart that browser. Close everything. Start fresh. It's like a digital cleanse. Your computer will say thank you. Your RAM, it's going to throw a party. And you'll feel like a brand new person. The moment after the Great Tab Purge is magical. Your browser loads, boom, instantaneously. Your computer, it runs smoother than before. And you can actually see what the tab titles are. Now you feel organized, efficient, powerful. You are now in control of your digital life. This feeling lasts approximately 45 minutes before you start accumulating tabs again. But those 45 minutes, pure bliss. So, if you can't trust yourself to manage the tabs manually, and let's be honest, you can't, there are tools that can help. Tab suspender extensions. These automatically suspend tabs you haven't used in a while, freeing up memory without closing them. It's like putting tabs in hibernation. They're still there, but they're not eating your RAM. This is the digital equivalent of you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here either. One tab extension, click one button, and all your tabs get converted to a list. You can restore them individually or all at once. It's like putting your tabs in witness protection. They're safe, but out of sight. Tab groups. Modern browsers like Edge let you organize tabs into color-coded groups. You can collapse the groups you're not using. It's like having multiple junk drawers instead of, one giant junk drawer. Is that better? Debatable. It feels more organized, though. I mean, I might have a couple junk drawers all myself. Session manager extensions. These save your tab sessions so you can close everything and restore specific sessions later. It's like having save points in a video game, except the game is trying to use the internet without losing your mind. The close all tabs button. This is the nuclear option. It requires courage. It requires faith. And it requires accepting that you're not going to read those articles. But sometimes you just got to burn it all down and start over. Bookmarks. Remember bookmarks? They're like tabs, but they don't use any system resources. Revolutionary concept. Of course, you'll never look at your bookmarks, but at least you're not slowing down your computer. So now, the tab minimalist lifestyle. Cue the gongs. I need gongs. Some people, and I'm not saying they're better than us, but they might be, practice what I call tab minimalism. These are the people who have 3 tabs open at any given time. 3 total. That's right. 3. Yes, 3 tabs. How do they do it? Are they superhuman? Do they have better impulse control? Are they lying? What's the magic? Well, here's the secret. They actually read articles when they open them, or they immediately close them. They use bookmarks for things they want to reference later. They trust Google exists, and they can find the things again if needed. They've accepted that FOMO is a lie, and they don't need to keep every interesting link open forever. Can you become a tab minimalist? Maybe. Probably not. You can aspire to be one, though. I do every day. The tab minimalist lifestyle involves opening tabs with intention, not impulse. Reading or closing those tabs within 24 hours. Using bookmarks or note-taking apps for reference materials. Trusting that you can find that information again if the time comes. And accepting that you have limited time and you just can't read everything. Is this realistic for most people? No. We're all going to keep hoarding digital tabs like digital dragons sitting on piles of unread articles. But hey, it's nice to have goals, right? It's now the truth about productivity. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Having 50 tabs open doesn't make you productive. It makes you feel busy, which is different from actually being productive. Real productivity looks like focusing one task at a time, actually reading those articles instead of collecting them, closing those tabs when you're done with them, using proper tools for information management instead of browser tabs. Your browser is not a to-do list. It's not a filing system. It's not a bookmark manager. It's a tool for accessing websites. That's it. Every open tab is a tiny mental burden. Your brain knows those tabs are there. It's tracking them, worrying about them, feeling guilty about not dealing with them. This is called a cognitive load, and it's exhausting. When you close tabs, you're not losing information. You're freeing up mental energy. You're choosing to focus on what actually matters instead of maintaining a digital museum of things you might look at someday. The paradox is that having fewer tabs open actually makes you feel productive, or makes you more productive. You can focus better. Your computer runs faster. You're not constantly distracted by that article about productivity that you've been meaning to read for 3 months. Close that tab. Trust me. It's going to be better. So, all right, let's get practical. Here's a realistic tab management strategy that doesn't require becoming a minimalist monk. Be an interesting lifestyle. Do they still get computers? The daily tab review. Once a day, review your open tabs. Close anything you haven't used today. Bookmark anything you want to return to later. Be honest about what you're actually going to use. The 10 tab rule. Try to keep your open tabs under 10. Not 10 per window, 10 total. This is hard at first, but it forces you to be intentional about what you keep open. The weekly fresh start. Once a week, close all your tabs and start over. Sunday night, Friday afternoon works well. Save anything important to bookmarks first if it makes you feel better. The one in, one out rule. For every new tab you open up, close the old one. This keeps your tab count stable and forces you to evaluate what's actually important. Use multiple browser windows for different purposes. One window for work, maybe one for personal stuff, maybe one for research. This creates some organization without requiring perfect discipline. Actually use bookmarks. Create a read later bookmark folder. When you find something interesting, bookmark it instead of leaving the tab open. Will you actually read it later? Probably not. But at least you're not using RAM. Set your browser tab limits. Some extensions let you set a maximum number of tabs. And then when you hit that limit, well, you have to close something before opening something new.